Hello and welcome to Best Binocular Reviews. My name's Jason. Today we're going to be taking a look at these Bresser Condor 10x42 binoculars. For the full review that contains way more information, it goes into far more depth than I could possibly ever achieve on this video. Please be sure to check out the link in the description below, which will take you through to the BBR website. These Bresser Condors feature a very modern looking roof prism design with its single top hinge over here. I like, in terms of its looks, I really like the fact that it's got a really hard black rubber armour over here. I mean, it looks really great, really classy, with the Bresser logo over there, sort of, on the actual body. Far from being a generic binocular that you get quite a lot of these days. The one thing to mention about the rubber armour, it's hard, which is good, and then the fact that it fits to the actual chassis really tightly. It isn't loose like I sometimes find. The downside to this, the slight downside to this, is the fact that it's so hard it doesn't actually offer as much grip as sort of a more softer, tackier rubber armouring. Having said that, though, it isn't overly slippy, but small margins here. The other slight disadvantage of a harder rubber like this is it doesn't offer, because it's quite thin, it doesn't offer quite as much impact protection as a sort of more spongy, soft rubber. But then again, flipping back to the positive side, softer rubbers I often find deteriorate a lot easier, can become sort of soft and overly tacky over time, whereas harder rubbers tend to just be a bit more long lasting. In terms of the feel, these binoculars are really nice and comfortable in the hands, nice and balanced, and I really do like using them. You feel like you've got a nice quality pair of optics in your hands when you hold these. This is sort of emphasized by the fact that they have a fully metal focus wheel. At this price range, that's sort of quite unheard of. Usually they're plastic and look quite cheap. This looks really, really nice, and it's nice and smooth. The focus mechanism itself is really, really nice and smooth. So it helps you to, get that fine-tune that focus really nice and easily. Sometimes there's some sort of free movement and free play in the focus mechanism, which can sort of make it a bit difficult to fine-tune the focus. There's no such thing on these binoculars, so really, really excellent mechanism over there. The diopter adjustment is in the usual place, just by the right eyepiece over here, and to adjust the diopter to match any differences in vision between your left and right eyes, you simply twist the ring over here in the usual way. It works well. It's nice and tight. I mean, not too tight, but it's tight enough that the fact that it won't move by accident. So once you've dialed in the binocular to your eyesight, there's no much chance of it moving by accident. So that's excellent. The eye cups, the twist-up eye cups are really, really good. Again, one thing to mention here, these binoculars have a metal eyepieces. At mid-range price level, you quite often find that they are plastic. This is a part of binocular that gets damaged the most when a binocular drops or falls. So to discover their metal is really good, and a definite plus on these binoculars. As well as protection, metal eyepieces themselves just work better. I mean, I don't know if you can hear that nice chunky clicky sound as they click into one of 4 click stops, which is really good. They've got 2 intermediate, so there's lots of room to adjust them to get your setting quite right, just right for your particular shape of face. So really good eye cups there, nice and comfortable. Not overly comfortable in the fact that I get some that have got softer rubber. Here the rubber's quite hard, so it may be comfortable. It doesn't actually, unless you press it really hard against your eyes, there's no discomfort. So perfectly adequate. The changing the IPD, so to match the distance of the ocular lenses to the same distance between your eyes, works really well. The hinge itself is really, really rock steady. I doubt very much, unless you really smack it hard, if it's going to go sort of out of alignment. There's enough friction there so that whatever setting you choose, it stays at quite nicely without moving at all. The binoculars themselves, as you can see over here, are tripod adaptable. So by just removing that little front dust cap over here, it reveals a thread over here which will accept. So it'll accept a standard tripod adapter, which you can then just screw into the binocular like so, and then you would then attach the tripod adapter to the head of your tripod. In terms of the optics, these Bresser binoculars come with pretty much what I would expect at this price range. The optical system is fully multi-coated with anti-reflection coatings, which is good. This means that every single optical surface from the front lens right through to the ocular and you know all the elements within inside the actual binocular itself have been multi-coated with a special substance that reduces unwanted reflections and ensures that the light travels in the desired direction. The result of this is that you get brighter quality views, but also higher quality ones, because you don't have light sort of bouncing around in unwanted ways or directions that you know that can cause problems. They have roof prisms inside made of BAK4 glass, which is typical and sort of what you want to hear with a binocular. There are cheaper options out there, but you know in reality this is what you kind of would hope to get within this price range. The coating on the roof prisms, they have a mirror coating, a silver mirror coating. Bresser do try and highlight this as being super great. It's good. A silver mirror coating at this mid-price range is typical. You do get better. I mean, more expensive alpha sort of type level binoculars have a dielectric coating, and basically what that does is it just transmits a higher percentage of light through the actual prism in all the actual different wavelengths. So the result is that you can get brighter views because obviously more light gets through and better quality. But as I say, at this range, silver mirror coated coatings on the prisms is fairly typical. A real highlight on these binoculars for me was the field of view. It is really wide. At 333 feet wide, when measured at a distance of 1,000 yards away, for a 10 times binocular, it's extremely, it's really, really good, and up there with some of the best 10 by binoculars that I've tested. In terms of their accessories, these Bresser binoculars come with a fairly typical selection, in fact a very typical selection, that includes a carry bag, a neck strap, lens cleaning cloth, objective lens covers, ocular lens covers or rain guard, as well as over here the objective lens covers. In terms of their quality, it's pretty good at this price range, about what you expect, perhaps a little bit higher than the average, put it that way. In terms for me, the highlight definitely was the neck strap, which is really well made. And also very well padded. I like the fact that far from being very generic, Bresser have their own brand there. Quite often at this price range, you just get a really generic neck strap, made in China type thing, with no branding on whatsoever. Underneath, they have a neoprene is sort of left open so that it doesn't have the material above it. This is great because it adds it's quite grippy, so that it doesn't slide around on your neck as much as a smooth neck strap does, which is quite nice because then sometimes your binoculars, if you can sort of slide from left to right. On top of that, it's a small attention to detail, but as you might see that the strap itself is slightly curved. And so what this means is that it sort of fits around your neck and shoulders just a little bit better, once again making it a bit more comfortable and less likely to slide around. So those are really nice. The stitching is really great, and the strap itself attaches to the binocular in the usual way by going through the eyelet on the side, back on itself and through the slider, which you can then use to adjust the length of the strap. One feature that I also really like about this neck strap is the fact it has these little quick release clips over here. There we go, they come apart. And what that means is you can then really quickly and easily remove your binocular from the neck strap. This is for people like who use a binocular harness quite often. It's great because you can actually have the harness attached to this part of the strap and connect it onto there, so really quickly. So you can switch between a harness and the neck strap really, really quickly. The other thing is if you don't have a harness, it still actually is really useful, or even if you do have a harness, it's useful because what Bresser have cleverly done is they've made the male and female the opposite ends of the neck strap. So when you've got the strap connected to the binocular like this, you can click it together, and then instead of having a neck strap, you can have actually a little hand strap and carry the binoculars that way. Something that I actually quite like. It's quite useful because I don't always want to have a full-on neck strap around me. So it's a nice feature. Something small, again, nice attention to detail shown by Bresser over here. And there you have it. Those are the main features and components on these Bresser Condor 10x42 binoculars. As I mentioned at the start of the video, for the full review that goes into way more depth than I could possibly ever achieve on here, please be sure to check out the link in the description below. That'll take you through to the BBO website. On there's things like the full specification chart, comparisons of these binoculars between similar binoculars in the same price category and same style and shape, so that it helps you to just make a much more informed decision to find the right binocular for your specific needs and at your exact price range. If you like this video, please be sure to also comment. If you have any comments or questions, I'll be quite happy to answer them. But also, what could really help me is if you subscribe to this channel. And that way I can hopefully continue to bring you videos and hopefully improve over time. I hope this one hasn't been too bad. For me to sit in front of the camera is not a natural thing for me to do, so I hope it's okay. And what could be really great is if you click on that little bell on the video, and that will sort of warn you the next time I upload a video, and hopefully that doesn't scare you away. So until next time, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again.